She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are...
Book Besties.
Prozac and jelly beans. I couldn't have done it without you.
I'm a genie in a bottle, baby.
Show me belly buttons.
Quiet on the set.
Because I move so much. It's my own fucking fault. I love when a man takes credit for what I do. Editing by Thomas Watkins. In a sunny, sunny day, finally. Woo!
It's a little cloudy here today. I think the pool that we belong to opens this weekend, but they can't figure out when, and I really need to get there because Sammy's birthday is coming up, and he wants a pool party again this year.
Nice.
So I need to get there so I can get the party on the books.
Do you like my aesthetic for today?
I love it. It's very appropriate for the book that we're reading.
I even have a frosted lip gloss, which is not as old as us. This is a brand new lip gloss. So it's back, guys. The Y2K is back. I got my butterfly clips in. I got my hair all did. I am in my like vibe.
I am in my vintage 1981 original part shirt.
The only thing that really upset me about this book, and we'll talk about it, but like I miss TRL. Like TRL was like a thing for our generation, right? And that was
I watched TRL like every day after high school.
That's what we did. Yeah. We came
after middle school
home,
and high school.
We sat down and we watched Carson Daly, who was the weirdest. Why was he the guy? Out of all the people,
I don't know.
Why was Carson Daly the guy?
I don't know.
Like he just, I don't know. I've seen him on TV now, and I'm like, how did he make it to MTV?
I don't know. Like the MTV VJs back in like the 90s were like
so
all
weird.
Like, yeah.
So you either had Jesse Camp,
Kennedy,
yes, or Jenny McCarthy.
Was she like a VJ though, or because she was just like on that show?
The Singled Out.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Singled Out? Oh my god, she did do VJ stuff, didn't she?
I don't know. You know who else was a VJ, but like post our time watching it?
Who?
David Rose, whose actual name escapes me right now.
Oh, Eugene Levy's kid.
Yeah.
Dan Levy.
Mm-hmm.
It came to me eventually.
A VJ.
He was?
Mm-hmm.
What a weird thing to have on your resume.
But he was like a VJ like after we would have been watching it.
He didn't want to embarrass himself when his friends were watching. He did it after his friends stopped watching.
This book took me into all the nostalgia and really, and I know we haven't even said what book it is yet, but it also made me really sad that I've never seen a show on Broadway.
Really?
I've never seen a show on Broadway.
You know what?
I've never been to New York City.
You know what this book made me think of?
What?
The show with Kathleen. Oh, Jesus Christ. Smash. You remember Smash?
I watched one episode.
Really?
That was it.
Why only one? It was good. I enjoyed it.
We didn't have cable and we didn't have streaming services really either. So
that was right up your jam.
Yeah, but it like premiered when we were moving between the house that we lived in Pasadena, the apartment we lived in Pasadena, and the house we lived in League City.
Oh.
So, like, we didn't have... there's something in my eye. We didn't have cable for the beginning of it, so I just got so far behind I never really got looped in.
Gotcha. And now it's just so old.
But now we really should probably say what book we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. This week's book is One More Time with Feelings. We kind of even
It's Once More with Feeling, not One More Time with Feeling.
I have been saying this since I put it on pod, guys.
It's by Elissa Sussman.
Mm-hmm.
And Once More with Feeling. This is the original cover. Molly has the special edition cover from Barnes & Noble.
Which I'm really kind of irritated by Barnes & Noble. Because this is supposed to have bonus features, right? That's what the whole point of them doing their special features. This is like the extra bonus stuff. And the only thing that's bonus in here is there's a list of Broadway songs that they suggest might go with possibly this part of the book. So each chapter has
That's lame.
a song, but it's like a chapter by chapter Broadway inspired playlist to add a little extra atmosphere to Kathleen and Cal's story. Not even that the author suggested it. Nothing.
I am kind of mad about special editions from Barnes & Noble because I bought 2 TJ Klune special editions, the first 2 book in the Wolf Song series, and I bought them when they had their like half price hardbacks the day after Christmas, Boxing Day, and the other 2 books weren't out yet. So now they are, so I wanted to go get them, and they're $27 a piece.
Oh, damn.
I could get them for cheaper on Amazon, but now I would have 2 books from one collection and 2 books from another collection, and I just am mad about it. And I decided since I haven't read either of them yet, I really can't bring myself to pay the money.
Right, like there's no point in buying something I'm not read yet. It's just...
Yes, there is. I have a whole lot of books I've bought that I've never read.
Same.
I buy the whole series. It still counts as one book.
Valid, girl math.
And I want the second book in the House on Cerulean Sea series, which comes out in the fall. But it's coming out in hardback, and House on Cerulean Sea I own is in paperback.
Yeah, I do too. What's frustrating me with these kind of special editions is I've gotten some really nice special editions from across the pond, right? And they come with all these beautiful little inserts and like information packets about the book on top of the book already being a special itself. And this cost more than that box.
Even with the import fees?
I don't pay the import fees. The company does.
But you have to pay extra shipping to have it shipped here, right?
They include the shipping.
Really? Well, I put myself on the wait list because they don't have any openings for that. Yeah. I put myself on the wait list.
But this costs the same price, book for book. So, like, why would I go to my local Barnes & Nobles to get this when I can get... Let's use Olivia Dade, for example. First and foremost, the cover art's gorgeous. Look how beautiful they are.
Okay? The cover art for the one I have is the same, but I know your edition's different.
Then the splayed edges, okay? And then there is extra artwork inside, outside, and...
I'm just thinking of the scene that's depicted there.
And the whole cover is a setting. So why would I pay the same price?
You need to have her sign that one.
I'm going to bring this. Oh, I'm absolutely fucking bringing this. I'm so besties, the 3 of us are going to be together again.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Molly and Katie are coming to see me this summer because we are going to see Olivia Dade at one of her tour stops, which we're not going to say where because we do not say where I live.
And we're not getting stalked. Also, possibly, maybe... book tattoos.
I asked Tom about it. He's like, is that something you want to do? And then I fell asleep, so I never really answered him.
The answer is yes, Tom.
Yes, it is, but I fell asleep.
So do you want to talk about this week's book?
Yeah, let's talk about this week's book. Once More with Feeling.
I have a summary. How's that sound?
I would love for you to give us a summary. Synopsis.
Kathleen Rosenberg once lived Kathleen Rosenberg once lived the pop star dream as Katie Rose. Katie with an double E, no IE, by the way, gang.
Or Y. It's double
no
E.
Y.
Katee.
Now she is 30-something who occasionally teaches dance classes in her basement till her best friend since Camp Curtain Call, Harriet, tells her she has done it. She has finished her musical, Riveted, and created Kathleen the role to bring her back to the spotlight. The one hitch, this musical is being produced by Cal Kirby. Cal Kirby was once in the boy band Crush Zone, who toured with Katie Rose. Katie, during this time, was dating Ryan I love that I can't talk. Ryan Leneve. It doesn't
How about
fucking
we just go
matter.
with Ryan?
Ryan. And they've been together since their time together on Show and Tell. Her being a background dancer and him one of the male leads, of course. Now Ryan thinks he's the lead of Crush Zone and treats everyone accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Cal tried out for Crush Zone as a joke. To everyone's surprise, Katie, Cal, and Harriet all went to Camp Curtain Call together.
Mm-hmm.
And as they get closer on this tour, Cal and Katie start to catch feelings again. This leads to a Brittany and Justin event that ends Katie Rose forever. Back in the present day, Cal, Kathleen, and Harriet are trying to work together to create a successful musical. But will their past, people from the past, old feelings stirring again, and of course Kathleen's aging body, can they do it? So let's just get right into it. Did I do that well? I don't know.
You did. And I just want to say that the industry is small, but it's not that small.
No.
But they would all three have been to Camp Curtain.
I mean, think about Kids Incorporated, Mickey Mouse Club, and like that group of kids. Like we had Ryan Gosling, we got Fergie, we got Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson, we got Justin Timberlake. I could go on for days, guys.
Yep.
Like
JC.
There are so many.
Jessica Simpson auditioned. She wasn't on the show, but she auditioned for it. No, I mean, I get it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Elissa Sussman is new to Pod and just hits us right in the gut with nostalgia. With Once More with Feelings. Hey, how about that? I said it right.
I edited your notes.
Perfect. Her style and writing comes easy to me as a reader and makes the book flow, in my opinion. How did you like Sussman and her style/voice?
I really, really liked this book.
Me too.
It was funny. It was nostalgic.
It was light. It was
very Y2K. I love Broadway, so that brought that feels. It reminded me of Camp with Anna Kendrick.
Loved Camp with Anna Kendrick.
There's just so many, like, things that it's referencing without giving us that same story, you know? And, which millennial doesn't remember Justin and Brittany breaking up and then having a dance-off in a club?
Oh, my gosh. Or Cry Me a River when that music video first hit.
Right.
We all were like, oh!
Brittany cheated. And all of us for all these years have thought Brittany cheated on Justin with their backup, with their dance coach, Wayne Robson. Robinson. And then Brittany releases her book and she's like, yeah, that's not really what happened. Here's what really happened.
And, and I read Brittany's book.
I did not. I just was told that.
I read Brittany's book. I kept going. Michelle Williams did the audio part. Read the audiobook for her.
Why didn't Brittany do it?
Honestly, I'm glad they had Michelle do it. It brought a sense of kindness, levity, and care to the story that it needed. If Brittany would have read it, it would have all been us going, oh, sweetheart. Oh, honey. Oh, baby. Like, I felt so heartbroken and terrible for Brittany the whole time. But with Michelle reading it, it felt like we were on the outside of it and that it was over. If Brittany would have read that book, I don't know how we would have stopped people from rioting and killing Justin Timberlake and putting him on a stake. You know what I mean? Like, that man would have been burned in the town square.
It's so speaks to how women are treated in the industry versus how men are treated.
Oh, God, it does.
Like, Brittany was a conquest for Justin, and she's the one that goes up in flames. Like, that's some bullshit.
So,
because all the women who were doing music then, when you've got your Brittany, your Jessica Simpson, your Christina Aguilera, they weren't supposed to be sexual beings. They were supposed to be sexualized.
Yes.
They have to be sexualized, but they can't be sexual. So, yeah. But the men who are doing NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, they better be banging every girl.
Right. So, When I started like digging deeper into this whole Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears thing, I stumbled across a clip from the secondhand information from the book. Okay, so in Jessica Simpson's book, she talks about her time when
Britney Spears' book.
No, Jessica Simpson. This is from Jessica Simpson's book.
I didn't know she even had a book.
Oh yeah. So this Jessica Simpson talks about her time from when she was dating before she got married.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Gosling and Justin Timberlake had a bet when she would try out who could get her to kiss them first during their Mickey Mouse time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, eventually Justin re-asked her out again years later. And when he kissed her in a club, literally, she thought this was exciting. This is great. Oh my God, I'm with Justin. And he literally rolls back in the club and goes, yes, I have to freaking call Ryan. I beat him. This is what this man said to her. And he ends up telling her that he had a bet with Ryan the whole time.
Wow.
Come to find out, Ryan Gosling didn't answer the phone that night. So I bet you dollars don't Ryan Gosling forgot.
Wow.
But zero surprised. Zero surprised. Yeah. But I mean, if you've seen what's been coming up recently about Justin Timberlake, who's surprised? Anyone? No hands raised. That's right. He's got a 21-year-old daughter he's been hiding. Gross. Anyways.
Not really surprised by that. I mean, you have to, like, this book does get into it, like, the boy band culture. Like, there's 2 members of Crush Zone who actually are gay.
Yeah.
And Kathleen refers to them as stooping each other behind the scenes. And, I mean, think about that. Every single boy band has had a member who was gay.
In the closet.
And they've been in the closet. When Lance came out, that was, like, huge. Because that was, like, the first person in a boy band to be like...
Well, and Lance coming out, like, watching him grow up and the way he always avoided those kind of questions, he was always uncomfortable in the closet.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
He never wanted to lie about who he was.
Yeah. I remember reading an interview with him. Well, it was with all of them because they were my favorite boy band. And so I was obsessed. And everything.
Because you're either Team NSYNC or you're Backstreet Boys.
Right. And everything that had NSYNC on the cover, I owned it. I bought the magazines, all the stuff. And there was an interview, favorite part of a woman's body. And everybody gave like their answer. And his was stomach. And me, as a plus-size teenager, I was like, well, that's really disappointing because he'll never be interested in me because I don't have a cute stomach. And then years later, I'm like, he said stomach because nothing on a woman's body is attractive to him.
Because it looks like everybody else's stomach.
He probably panicked and was like, stomach!
Stomach!
Stomach! That's a body part on a woman, right? You guys
that sounds like that sounds something sexy. Yeah, I love a good stomach. Show me belly buttons.
By the way, why is teen people interviewing them and asking them the sexiest part of a woman's body? Teen people.
Gross.
Gross.
Gross. Gross. I don't even have my bell. Where's my bell? I can't even bell it. The 2000s is screaming to get out of this book. However, it is... In my mind, I could not stop comparing this novel to Royal We, as it too takes inspo from real life. Mm-hmm. Did you like this millennial catch-all novel?
Yeah, I mean, I really did. I actually recommended it to a few people I work with after I finished it because it was one that I didn't want to stop. I think I read the whole thing. I read audio and physical for this one, and I think I finished it in 3 days. And I mean, it's not a short book. It's close to 400 pages, but 394 pages. But it was just so good. I didn't want to stop reading. I really enjoyed the story. I liked how there were dual timelines. And fuck, what was your question? I think I'm answering it.
You are. Keep going. I called it a millennial catch-all. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Because Absolutely. It reminded me of Royal We. Because of, like,
and I feel like we are the target audience for this. Like, 100%. I don't feel like this is going to translate as well to our...
If I handed this to my kid, she would have zero fucks about this book.
Right. But, like, our Gen Z book talkers, this one's not for them. This one's not for them.
This is for if you were born anywhere between the mid-90s and 80s, okay? This is for our millennial babies. If you watched TRL growing up, this is for you. If you liked pop-up videos, this is for you. By the way,
pop-up video.
How do you think that's where my love of random knowledge came from, by the way? Also, fuck you guys for never mentioning TRL once on this. Fuck you guys. TRL was a huge part of our life. And you didn't
it would have been a huge part of Katie Rose and Crush Zone. Like, they absolutely would have.
Because that daily countdown is how artists gauged if they were popular or not.
Yeah. And at this time, we don't have streaming services. So what is the way that they're getting paid is through record sales, through CDs, possibly some tapes, but mostly CDs. And so if you're not pumping out CDs at this time and then promoting them and then getting videos that are on TRL, you aren't touring. You died.
So we just skipped their whole TRL phase and we're on a tour, which is fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous.
I think that part of the reason for that, like, I'm going to justify it for a second. I think part of the reason for that is that the snippets of time when Crush Zone and Katie Rose were together, not Katie Rose. Is it Katie Rose?
Katie Rose.
Katie Rose. The time that they were together was on tour. Like, they wouldn't have necessarily done a pop-up together at TRL.
Right.
They were on tour together, and she was
unless they were touring in New York,
but they were in Europe for most of this. True. They were touring in Europe, and Katie was the headliner, and then that kind of swapped, and then
which I've seen done in the past. I remember when 98 Degrees was opening for Boyz II Men, and it swapped mid tour.
Yeah.
So speaking of, we have a sign down the road for Boyz II Men. Guess where they're gonna be? At a local museum performing.
The real Boyz II Men. In your 40s without telling me you're in your 40s.
Boyz II Men just randomly performing at a random museum in Calvert County. Super weird, guys.
Is it the original, like, Boyz II Men lineup? Like, the three of them?
The three of them.
Well, anyway, so I think that the reason that they didn't do, like, the TRL and stuff is because they would have been overseas. They talk a lot about making music videos.
Right.
So, but we don't actually, like, see, quote unquote, see them make the music videos. It's like they reference it. So you're right. They should have at least said something about TRL, but
reference it a smidge just because, like, I feel like it was a really a huge part of the culture back then. It was, right? It was a large part of the Teen Pop
MTV Video Music Awards would have been a reference. And
Choice Awards.
Yeah, MTV. And they were around for long enough that they would have been in that.
Yeah, especially, you're telling me Ryan and Katie never got nominated for the Kids' Choice Favorite TV Couple? You know what I mean? Like, they absolutely did get voted favorite, pop couple. It's just...
Right.
So Kathleen's career mirrors a lot of pop stars we have seen. Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Fergie. We saw the rise and fall of We saw them all rise and fall as Kathleen does as Katie Rose. Do you think this author gives an appropriate description of what it's like for them?
I think so. And another musician I'm going to lump in with this who has not had a downfall in her career as a pop star, but I'm going to say Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Because Katy Perry actually changed her name and became a pop star in her first single, I Kissed a Girl. But she was a Christian artist before that.
Yeah.
And that career didn't work out for her. So she did what Jessica Simpson did, and she went to the pop star life.
Yep.
I am not a fan of Katy Perry. She looks like a blow-up doll to me. Like, I don't get it.
She just feels fake.
Yeah.
I've never
like a blow-up doll.
Well, I feel like she's a shell of a human who is just and I don't know this woman, so this is just my perspective of what I see on screen. This is my opinion. Do not come for me. I do not want your hate. You love Katy Perry, good for you fuckers. What I am saying though is when I see any videos of her on social media, on internet, anything, that woman is dead-eyed. There is nothing in her heart or her soul. She has sold her soul to whatever freaking evil demon to get her magical career.
But that's why I'm comparing her to Katie Rose in this book, because Kathleen changes pretty much everything about herself for fame.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can actually use Lady Gaga as an example too. So Stephanie, the person behind Lady Gaga, was actually doing several different characters in local bars in New York City. And Lady Gaga happened to be the one that got the record deal.
Yep.
But she has several characters that she was doing things as, and she's classically trained from Juilliard.
Yeah. That woman is so fucking talented.
Maybe NYU, but she's classically musically trained.
She is. It was NYU, Juilliard, or Carnegie Mellon. I can't remember.
Yeah, one of those.
It's one of the big three.
But, like, Kathleen completely changes herself. She dyes her hair from brown to blonde.
Right.
She lets them put her in skimpy outfits and make her boobs look bigger. She doesn't have a boob job, but they definitely make her boobs look bigger. Like, she changes the way she sings. She has a Broadway voice.
Right.
And Katie Rose sings in the back of her throat and really nasally, like Britney Spears.
Right.
Which, by the way, that actually reminded me of the episode of Glee where they do Britney. So my other best friend, Dawn, was not a Glee fan. And she loves Britney Spears. And so when they were doing that episode, she watched it and she was like, I don't get why everybody thinks this Lea Michele girl can sing. She sounded terrible. And I was like, because that isn't the voice that she sings in. She is a Broadway voice actress, not a Britney Spears auto-tuned.
Well, what's annoying with Britney, the Britney thing really bugs me because I remember Britney from Kids Incorporated, from Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse Club.
I was a Mickey Mouse Club kid, okay?
Me too.
I was a Mickey Mouse Club kid, and she had a soulful, deep, heart-wrenching voice. That child made me cry. And when she came back out as Britney Spears and she's like, oh, baby, I want it. I was like, who the fuck is this bitch? Because that is not Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
So them making her change her voice for the world is bullshit.
Yeah. But it was the sound of the late 90s, early 2000s. It was the pop sound.
Christina Aguilera didn't change her voice.
That's not true. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby.
You're right. I just recently saw a video of her. If I can find it, I will post it in the links. But it's a video of her doing the 25th anniversary of Genie in a Bottle. And she's singing in her normal voice. And it sounds like a grown woman singing Genie in the Bottle and not a child.
When she released her second album, she sang.
Xtina? Yes.
She sang.
Yeah, Dirty. Remember when Dirty came out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who could forget?
Ladies, move. Gentlemen, move.
Who could forget? She was wearing assless chaps with little, like, leather Speedos.
And a spaghetti string swimsuit.
Yeah, and her hair was somehow
dirty and clean at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
Anyway, okay, number 5. We've only gotten to question 5. That's how crazy this book's got us.
It's good, though!
It's so good, though. Like Brittany and wait, is that where I'm at?
Girl, I would literally
Okay, nope, we're on question 4. We haven't even read question 4 yet.
All right, good. Do it.
Good. Okay. While we were talking about Kathleen's career, I want to talk about the little things she mentions while mentions about what it was like to be Kathleen Rose. One of the things during the audiobook that stood out to me was that they mentioned her nose. We have seen hundreds of girls go under plastic surgery in Hollywood. Are you surprised? Not just girls, men too. We've seen it with Kate. You pointed this out to me, Josh Hutcherson. But are you surprised that the author included this not so subtle Hollywood secret?
Not at all. And I think I put a note on there, Lea Michele, because Lea Michele has spoken out against this too. She was told by many people that her nose was too Jewish, and that she needed to get it. And she's like, "Well, I'm not going to get it fixed." Barbara Streisand never fixed her nose.
Well, because that's Barbara Streisand,
but
too.
It's like, Barbara fucking Streisand. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. But yeah, that is the one thing about Katie Rose that Kathleen did not change. She would not change her nose.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, she was Kathleen Rosenberger, right? Like she
Rosenberg.
was still Berg. No ER. No ER. I just added an extra. But since we've been referencing Glee, let's talk about when Santana got the boob job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we see
Well, there was a whole episode about Rachel getting a nose job.
Yeah. Like, we see this, and it's still happening today.
And
like,
Quinn has major plastic surgery.
Yes. And so does, okay, jumping off Glee. Okay, so male actors that have had plastic surgery, that is noticeable. Let's talk about, what's his face from High School Musical? Jawline. Zac Efron.
Zac Efron? He had his jawline done?
He has had a massive facial change, and he's claiming he was in an accident and they had to restructure his face.
I'm sure that's what he's claiming. But I liked how in this book, when we get to the end and Ryan pops back up and he's like, "You look remarkable. I can't even see where you had work done." And she's like, just sitting there like, "I fucking haven't."
Yeah. Ryan was a piece of trash.
Yeah.
So speaking of, let's jump into question 5. Like Brittany and Justin in real life, when the truth comes to light about Katie, Cal, and Ryan, she is left fending for herself while the boys get away with keeping their careers and lives pretty much intact. Did you think the author did the 2000s pop stars justice with this storyline?
I mean, it does mirror reality, right? It was decades later before we realized that it wasn't Brittany.
No, it was never Brittany. But nobody.
I mean, I'm not saying it was never Brittany. We don't know that it was never Brittany, but it wasn't only Brittany.
It was never only Brittany. And Justin was always cheating on her. And there's two sides to every story, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's two sides to every story. And for us just to believe the male pop star back then was really short-sighted of a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And as that boy used to say, leave Brittany alone!
Sorry. Yeah, what was interesting to me was the take that the person Katie cheated with was a member of the same boy band.
Which was,
and he didn't go down in flames.
No, and he didn't defend her either. He got butthurt like a boy in that age would do, and he blamed her too and took off.
Yep. I mean, he later, like...
It took him almost 20 years to apologize, though.
Yeah, but even with the maturity that he gains, when they get back together and they break up again, he's like, I've given you 2 chances. You're not getting another one.
Right. He's not even trying to be sympathetic.
No.
Never. Not understanding at all.
I mean, I do understand where he's coming from, but it's still the same immaturity.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's really not grown at all in that time frame.
Well, and it's hard to say that, too, because she hasn't either. She wants to keep their relationship a secret.
Right. Which they're grown-ups. And they're grown-ups, for Christ's sake, right? Like, yeah.
Like, they go somewhere together and pretend like they're not even on the train together.
So weird. Camp Curtain Call is mentioned throughout this book. It is where Harriet, Cal, and Kathleen first meet. While I am sure there are places like this all over the country, I cannot help but think of the movie Camp.
Absolutely.
Did you feel like this place was realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all over the country, these places.
Yeah. And it's very much like Camp. It reminds me of the book When You Get the Chance. It's definitely a place that main character, cannot think of her name off the top of my head.
I can't either. It's been so long.
Yeah. It's definitely someplace she would have wanted to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it's a place that, like, even, like, a young Leah Michelle would have wanted to go. I mean, it's a place where a young Anna Kendrick would have wanted to go, too. Not just as, pretend.
Right.
But, yeah, those places are everywhere. They also have...
Millie was the character in
Millie,
If You Get the Chance.
Right. If you have ever heard of, like, what they do for... Disney and Nickelodeon, when they're casting kids for their pilots, there's like a hotel that pretty much houses all of them in Hollywood.
Okay,
and
I've seen
they're
that.
there with their parents, and it's basically a summer of them like.
Okay, so have you seen the documentary about that place? It's in Hollywood. It's on Hulu. I will find it. It's a apartment complex you're talking about.
Yeah. I've never seen the documentary. I didn't know there was one, but I read several articles about it, so I would love to see the documentary.
I'll find
reading things like that and seeing things like that keep me from trying to get my kids into show business.
It's the reason I didn't take Liv during pilot season, her 6th birthday year, when she asked me to, because I watched that summer and I was like, Matt and I were talking about going out there because she really wanted to act and do commercials, and I watched that and I was like, nope, we're not, nope, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then if you see the new thing about Nickelodeon.
No! Big no!
Quiet on the set.
Fuck that. This is why you have to be very careful about putting your children into Hollywood, kids.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but that is a part of this book, too. Her parents don't want her to do this.
And her parents really, sorry, I'm getting all fucked up. Her parents really were against her going to Camp Curtain Call at the beginning.
Yeah. They didn't want her to go.
No.
They don't want her to be out. They don't even come see her Broadway debut.
They're not.
They
really
never saw her on tour as Katie Rose.
No, and she ended up getting emancipated, and Harriet's family pretty much took care of her while she lived in New York.
Yeah.
So it's just not everybody has a supportive family. Not everyone has a supportive family.
But also, where do you draw the line between being supportive of your kids' dreams and protecting them from an industry that's destroys people?
Right. I mean, because it did destroy, but Katie still took care of her parents. You know, when she was making all that money, she talks about how she bought herself a place, she paid off her parents' house, she paid college funds for her siblings, and then she was like, I don't have anything else to spend money on. I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really, bitch? Really? You took care of them after all that?
Well, she didn't. I mean, they're her parents.
I know, but we have different views on how we treat blood relatives. Cal's career has stated, nope, not stated. He's never stated anything. Cal State. What is wrong with me? So much. Cal's career has stayed consistent since his split with Crush Zone. He did not need the musical. Why do you think he chose to do it anyway?
I read that question and I take issue with it a little bit.
Okay.
For one thing, his career has been consistent as a director.
Yeah.
So him doing this is just his new career.
Right.
I want to believe
musicals.
Huh?
But he hasn't been doing musicals, and he was doing choreography and stuff. But why go to Harriet? He could have went to 100 other
Harriet
people.
went to him.
That's true. You're right.
But I want to believe the romantic story that he did it because he pinky swore to Kathleen that he would be a director, and her big dream was to get to Broadway, and he wanted to help her do that. But realistically, I think he did it because it was a job and he was a director. I'm sure there was a piece of it that was like, but also Kathleen will be there. I'm pretty sure they had been in love with each other their whole lives. I'm sure
a piece of it was like, wow, Harriet, you can fucking write.
Oh, yeah, and he already knew that. He already knew that. He wanted Kathleen to use Harriet's songs as Katie Rose.
Which she wanted to, too. Let's not lie. She wanted to, too, but there were so many.
And they wanted her to release a Christmas album, and she's like, I'm Jewish.
I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish. Where am I? Okay, number 8. During the Crush Zone / Katie Rose tour, Katie realized she must dump Ryan because he has feelings for Cal. Yes, the affair was between Cal and Ryan because she has feelings for Cal. That bubbles over and they kind of sort of have sex on accident. She finally decides to tell Ryan, And instead of, she gets the courage up to tell Ryan, and he proposes that evening on stage in front of everyone. And the fallout for Katie is massive.
Yeah.
In the end, she never ends up with Ryan or Cal, and everyone just abandons her. Why can't I word? We were on a call earlier, and I couldn't word then either. Do you feel Cal was in the right? Do you agree with the behavior of everyone that day?
So I think Cal, just using Cal, looking at his story, I think he handled things immaturely. But in a lot of ways, what the fuck was he supposed to do?
Right.
She just told all of the world that she would marry Ryan.
And she's not going to just dump Ryan and be with you the next day. She can't.
Well, that was the plan until she said yes live on stage.
Right.
So I understand his hurt. Now his job is, okay, if I can't have her, at least I need to protect my music career. Then you look at Ryan. I 100% think that the only reason that Ryan proposed to her publicly is so she couldn't say no.
That is exactly why he did it.
He was hoping that this would booster both of their careers. He even mentioned we could maybe do an album together. Like, we'll get all of the, maybe People magazine will even pay for our wedding. Like, he wanted the fame that would come from it, and he did it so she couldn't say no.
Yeah. He really wanted to back her into a corner, and he really saw Katie as a money train. He didn't see Katie as Kathleen.
Right.
He never saw her as a human. He saw her as a chess piece in his game plan.
And he didn't even care that she had slept with Cal. He was just like, it's fine. Whatever. Just let me sleep with somebody that I want to sleep with, and we'll just call it even.
That's not how any of this works.
Right.
That's not how.
And I'm not saying that Kathleen was right to sleep with Cal. She should have broken up with Ryan. She should have broken up with Ryan for many reasons.
She should have broken up with Ryan a long time ago.
Ryan didn't even do anything for her birthday because what she wanted to do was watch musicals, and he doesn't like musicals.
So he just left and bailed.
Right. Their relationship was built on whatever he wanted. He didn't even know she could really sing.
Right. Like, oh, the night of the karaoke you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the evening April's talking about in the book, the group all goes out singing together, like to an after party together to a karaoke bar. And Katie waits for a good long while until everybody's good and liquored up. And she requests a specific song that is it's a Broadway tune.
It's Memories from Cats.
Yeah. And this girl lets loose.
Belts it. She sings it to the rafters.
And everybody is dead silent. Because no one knew Katie could fucking sing.
Except for Cal.
And Harriet, who grew up with her.
Right.
So
and so that relationship with Ryan was doomed long before Cal even entered the picture. He spent their entire relationship telling everyone that he was the reason that Katie got the job on Show and Tell.
Yep. I love when a man takes credit for what I do. Kathleen and Harriet become fast friends at camp and are practically inseparable. When Kathleen transitions to Katie Rose, she tries hard to bring Harriet along, but it is a struggle for both girls. As time goes on, they both seem to handle being normal together, but until riveted. Then things get messy in their friendship again. Was this friend fight pending, or was it something that was on the spot? Like, do you think it was always building up, or do you think this was a moment situation for this blow up?
I think this fight needed to happen when they were teenagers. When she was touring as Katie Rose and Harriet wasn't having the career she wanted, they needed to have that fight then.
Yes.
The fight that they needed to have now, which is what I thought was going to happen, it was my prediction for the story. And the reason that I could not give the story 5 stars is because I don't feel like this character wasn't really given a story. But I thought that Harriet felt awkward around her because she was in a relationship with Rachel. And Rachel was the mean girl from camp.
I fucking hate Rachel.
And it would have been weird because Rachel was a bully to Harriet,
Mm-hmm.
but it would have been weird if they got together. But I thought that's where the story was going, and her being uncomfortable around Kathleen because of that, because she didn't want her to know that she was sleeping with Rachel. That was a better story than I'm jealous of the attention you're getting when I wrote my big play.
That makes way more sense. And
they needed to have the fight when they were teenagers, when Harriet's career was nowhere and she was being Katie Rose.
As a writer, this fight was written wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This fight was written wrong. Yeah. And I'm just saying that because if... I'm going to tell you how I would have written it because I don't know how else to explain this. How I would have written this is Harriet loses her shit, right? About how she's always been behind Katie. She's always been in the shadows. She's always been everything. Kathleen has always been in the spotlight. And for once, she wanted to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And she wrote her this part so they could do this together. And Kathleen has made this about her again instead of being about me. And I just want, for once, something to be about me. And that's how that fight should have went.
But I feel like that is how the fight went. And that wasn't accurate because Kathleen was not making it about her.
Right, but...
she was making it about Harriet. She was very proud of Harriet.
The way Harriet expressed herself in that really did not clarify how it is. Yes, we all understood based off the story we were told that Harriet has always felt in the background. But Harriet herself never once complained about back then. Not until this fight happens. And I really feel like if she was more grumbly throughout, we'd have more understanding about where this came from. If that makes sense.
I think we needed more indication of jealousy earlier. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. And I really don't like that Harriet told Kathleen not to sleep with Cal.
Did you side with either of them during the fight? Did you side with either of them during the fight?
Between Kathleen and Harriet?
Mm-hmm.
Probably Kathleen, because I feel like
I was on Harriet's side.
I feel like Harriet was overreacting.
I'm the overreactor.
Listen, Harriet felt like, we learned this in the end, that she believes that Cal has been in love with Kathleen since they were kids, and vice versa. And if that's the case, then why are you standing in your friend's way? Because
we've always made it about Kathleen. Can it, for once, be about Harriet? And then
where did Harriet come into any of this? She's not the one in the bedroom with them.
Right. But it would ruin her career if this musical failed.
But there was no indication that it was going to fail. It was already going to Broadway, and they were sleeping together before then.
But if her and Cal break up, it'll fuck everything up. Fuck everything up. You don't shit where you eat, man. You don't shit where you eat.
Okay, but if you are the writer...
Okay,
you're the writer of the play. As the writer, you may be able to tell the director and the leading lady not to sleep together. If you're the best friend of the leading lady...
yeah, it's different. Me, as the writer, I'm going to the director. As Harriet, the best friend, I'm not going to my bestie. Because there's two different divides there. That's why you don't mix freaking money and family, friends. Because shit gets muddy. Muddy!
I think that Harriet was being very immature. The jealousy thing is immature.
Yeah, well, we all have that little green monster in us.
She can't, if she looked down in the pits of her soul, she can't say she wrote that part for Kathleen because she wanted Kathleen to have a rocket ship to new stardom. She wrote that part for Kathleen because Kathleen's notoriety would help her too. That's why she wrote the songs for Kathleen too.
You think so?
It would help her career. Yes, because she said that during their fight. She said, when you had sex with Cal before, it ruined my career.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And I'm sorry, but if you were that worried about them sleeping together, then you shouldn't have fucking hired Cal to begin with. She's the one that brought this to Cal.
Yep. Okay. I'm giving it to you. You get the win.
I'm not trying to win. This is how I feel.
You have big feelings.
I do have big feelings.
When Cal and Kathleen break up, is it the second time? Is it necessary?
Yes.
Agreed. There is
because here's the thing. Harriet drew a line in the sand and said, "You were him or me." And while I truly believe that Kathleen loved Cal, and Cal loved Kathleen, she owed it to Harriet at that point to choose Harriet.
Yeah. Harriet had been by her side for so long.
But it was bullshit that Harriet made her choose.
It was. And a true friend would never do that to you.
Exactly. Which was my point all along.
Yeah. What do you think of the ending of this book?
I mean, are you talking about like the epilogue, which is like them making it and getting the article? I mean, it's great. I think it's a little cheesy that he's mic'd and she declares her love, and so everybody knows. I think that's a little cheesy, but
it sounds about right for Kathleen to just info dump on him without paying attention to the setting.
But I'm really glad that they ended up together. I knew that they would, but I liked them as a couple. I think that he loved her and was willing to do whatever for her when they were kids. And I think when they were older and they slept together, I think that was a huge moment for him. And that he loved her and he wanted to make that work. But as adults, as fully adults with these big careers now, I think that it wasn't him just choosing her, it was choosing them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was a big moment. It was I finally have her. This is what I've wanted, but I finally have us. We love each other.
Coming back to the house in the Notebook. It's you know, her choosing to stay there forever, even though it ruins everything.
Yeah.
But in this book, it didn't ruin everything. It was, I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah. And I feel like there are so many co-stars that get together and so many, and like,
look at, Jennifer Goodwin from Once Upon a Time. And her husband.
She was engaged to somebody else when she
yes, she was.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in Hollywood. Look at how many times Julia Roberts has done that.
Well, anyway, I was going to use the example of now their names escape me. Spider-Man.
Show? Oh, Zendaya and Tom Holland.
Yeah. Everyone knows they're together. They never say that they're together.
They act like they're not. They just they're like.
Everyone knows that they're together.
We fucking know, guys. Stop it. So,
and they still manage to work together just fine.
Yeah, but they also have like separate lives. They also do things separate, and it's.
I mean, Big Bang Theory went on for what 12 years, and
Kaylee Cuoco.
Kaylee Cuoco and Johnny Galecki, is that his last name? They dated in the early seasons, and they were able to be fine and be friends.
So I saw Kaylee Cuoco a interview with her about that. She says that the directors knew they were dating, and like the writers knew they were dating, and didn't write in Leonard and Penny kissing till after they broke up. As I'm like, fuck you to them for like screwing around on set. Teach you a lesson, huh? Did you learn your lesson, children?
If Miley's video with all the Easter eggs, flowers is any indication, Jennifer Lawrence may have hooked up with her co-star as well, who was married.
I hope not, Jennifer. I hope not, because you are a girl's girl in my mind. I hope not. The only thing I wanted to say before I asked you your final thoughts and Goodreads was I wanted to go there's in the Barnes & Noble edition, there is a set list for each chapter. And so there's songs from Pippin, Kiss Me Kate, like it's every chapter. I'm not going to go song by song, but there's 7 Brothers for 7 Brides, like Hegwood and their Angry Inch. There is every kind of musical you could think of in this playlist.
Yeah. I know you're not a big reader of like the author's notes, but her acknowledgments. This is the first line. There are a few things more tragic than a theater kid who can't sing, dance, or act.
Yeah. Well, you know what her in the beginning, what's it say? This book is dedicated to Prozac and jelly beans. I couldn't have done it without you.
Yep.
I love you, Elsa.
Same.
So final thoughts, April Goodreads, did I miss anything?
I gave it a 4.5, and the reason I didn't give it a 5 was specifically because I feel like Rachel's character was an unnecessary addition to the story. You don't need the mean girl from camp coming back in their lives. Like, she could have been the catalyst for the early stories and then just left there.
Right.
If she was going to be in the current timeline, she needed to be more than one of the producer's girlfriends. Like, she needed more of an integral role.
Either she needed to be more in the novel or less in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
The where her placement was why does this keep doing to me? It keeps unfocusing me. What? Because I move so much. It's my own fucking fault. They really should have made a decision with her if she was going to be in the book more or not, especially with like when she first was like, oh, well, I heard you're not going to be playing this role for long. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to get more of Rachel? And then she was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
I mean, I guess it was supposed to be so that she would think that Cal was in a relationship with her, but I feel like the story would have been better if it was Harriet that she was with. Because that would have been more surprising. It would have been a true betrayal of Kathleen too.
Right. And it would have been so surprising, and it would have just,
and it would have been very much when Blaine dated Kurosky and Kurt was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Right.
It would have been that.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Well, I don't have anything else. You want to go over what we got coming up?
Let's talk about next week. So we are doing Pride reads for the month of June. Check out our website. I put a little Pride note on there, and
I love it so much.
We will be doing, the first book we'll be doing is 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall. This is the author of the Boyfriend Material series, which we read Boyfriend Material, our first Pride, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Fair warning for those of you who want to read this, I would highly recommend the audiobook because dialect is a huge part of this book, and the audiobook narrator really does a good job like explaining it.
Yeah.
So I would do
also,
that.
It's very, very
it's
British.
Very British.
Like, you get that right off. Like, when they're talking about school, the first chapter, you're like, say it again.
Right.
But explain it to me in American. Because, like, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Right. I knew it was, like, primary school and high school.
There's actually an author's note at the beginning that I'll read in the next week's episode, but he talks about the dialects, and I understand that this might be hard. But, all right, so then the second week in June, we're doing the book Big Swiss. I do not have a copy. I do have a copy of it.
I have a copy. Did you grab the library's copy?
From the library. Oh, it's downstairs in my backpack. But yes, I have a library copy. And then that's the second book. And then the third book, we're going to do The Celebrants by Stephen Raleigh. We did The Guncle with him, the also our first Pride, and absolutely loved that book.
He surprised the shit out of us.
It was so good.
So good.
I wonder if the audiobook for this one is also narrated by him.
I hope so. Because I'm really excited about it.
I really liked how he brought himself into it. But anyway, The Celebrants, Stephen Raleigh will be really our last book of season 6.
Yay!
And then over the summer, I will be doing Smut Girl Summer again with Nurse Katie. We've already picked out our books, and yesterday I wrote a summer TBR that's not just Smut Girl, it's other things. And you are going to be writing and reading books about the Prohibition.
So these came in the mail.
Uh-huh.
And I started writing something that has nothing to do with Prohibition.
Are you still going to get a first draft by the end of the summer? Because that's
absolutely.
The goal.
I have 4 pages already. This book is about a woman on death row.
4 pages is not that much.
For me, it's a lot right now. Shut the fuck up.
You were deeper into the other story.
I know, but I was scrapping it and starting over.
I don't want to be a writer.
It's hard.
That's terrible.
It is. My ADHD does whatever the fuck it wants.
But I am really excited. We cannot tell you more details yet, everybody. But
the next season is huge, guys. I cannot explain how huge the season is. But
it's major. It's going to be major for us.
I need you guys to get caught up on your Book Besties reading and listening. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And as soon as we release what book season 1 is, be ready.
Episode 1 of season 7. That's what she meant.
That. All right, guys, we're going to go because I
am the Molly translator.
I know. We really need one of those now. Or Katie.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next month for Pride.
Bye. Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of April and Molly and not those of anyone else. Today's book was Once More with Feelings by Elissa Sussman. Your Book Besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins and music is Sleep Sweetly by Brigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.